Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome in today for the 55th episode of the Pod Once podcast. I'm your host, Char J, joined in by my beautiful guests, Luke.
It's about damn time you're back. Good
and
lord.
Hereth Productions.
You're back, Charlie D'Amelio.
I'm back. I survived my plane crash, as said last week. But today we're going to be talking about Season 6, Episode 10, The Lost Ones. We're going to be diving into Sifo Dyas, the whole backstory about that was lightly discovered in Attack of the Clones, but it's going to get much, much deeper. I'm excited to talk about it all with you guys, and are you guys excited?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting arc, or not an arc, an interesting episode that got thrown in, and it really does a good job of explaining things. And filling in the holes from Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. So, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, what about you, Hereth? Are you ready?
Yeah, same as Luke. It's one of my favorite. I think it's probably my favorite one-off Clone Wars episode of the bunch. I'll get into reasons why later on, but yeah, I definitely filled a lot of holes and questions I had about the prequel trilogy as a whole.
Beautiful. And this is my most rewatched solo episode of Clone Wars because of just the answers you get from the movies in this episode. So
yeah,
let's get the show on the road and let's do it.
You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you might make it as mine.
And we're back. So our first guest today, we have two guests, and they're both returners to the Pod Once podcast. Last week, he hosted the show, and he took over, and Hereth was Harry Styles. Luke was... Who were you, Luke?
I think I was just Luke.
Oh, typical Luke. And I was Charlie D'Amelio. Let's bring in the former host of the Pod Once podcast, Chase at Forward Into the Black.
I have no recollection of the events you're describing.
I knew he was going to do that.
How you been, man?
I've been great. How are you guys?
Good. It's good to be back. I missed last week's episode because I was coming home late from Los Angeles, so I'm glad to be back talking about Clone Wars with all of you beautiful people. So,
Is that like the Padawan's Mandela effect? Like in another universe, Chase is just the host, and then it's just bleeding into our universe.
Yeah, might be.
It's the Pod Once multiverse.
I've never heard of the Pod Once podcast.
Chase.
Oh no, believe me. Hey, I have a resume of all of the times that you've been on the show. So,
I don't think that's true.
Maybe that's his doppelganger. Maybe that's his
my stuff is not
multiversal. Yeah. Chase, where can the good people find you on the social medias?
You can find me everywhere on social media at Forward Into the Black on TikTok, on Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also find me every once in a while on Rogue Council talking about Star Wars movies, Star Wars introspective lore.
Nice. Go check out their podcast. It's great. Hereth's been a guest on the podcast.
Yes, I have. I was on for the Kenobi episode.
Nice.
Correct.
I'm still waiting to appear on Rogue Council, but
One day.
I'm taking no offense to it.
Same.
It's not like you're on any major podcast recently or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
So, are we ready to bring in our second guest?
Yep.
All right. So let's bring in one of. So it's kind of funny because we have both people that have done presentations on our live Clone Wars shows, and Chase is known for doing PowerPoints, while the other did a Prezi on the Clovis arc. Let's bring in Pat at St. Pat Separatist.
It was
wrong.
It
was not
Ahsoka leaving the order. It was our most popular.
Leaving the
Orders.
order.
I thought it was.
And all the work I did for that episode.
And it was our
Wow.
most popular episode of the Pod Once podcast.
I'm sorry. I
Great
died.
Job,
I died in a plane crash last week.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
We're surprised that you
We
even
can-
had your brain when you came back.
We can forgive you for brain damage.
Well, Pat, how are you?
I wouldn't say that.
I am doing
That's
fantastic.
that's on the daily.
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm happy to be on here before I have a final. So it's a good way to relax.
Absolutely. Oh, getting called out.
Damn! You call me my harshest critic.
yeah,
We got a new harshest critic title.
Real quick, Hans.
I was about to do that. Yeah.
Thanks for joining. You must be new here. They have a question. Any big characters you think will show up in Andor? Real quick. What do we think? Who do we think's showing up in?
Let's each name two characters that we think.
Okay, I'll start with Chase.
Zero the Hutt. He's not dead.
Okay. Give me a semi-real answer.
Oh, Saw. I really think Saw's going to show up.
Huh. Interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
What
I don't know. Hey.
You asked for a semi-realistic one.
Hey, that's not a bad one. Pat, sorry, my brain's just out of it.
Hey,
Wow.
likewise, Luke. Likewise.
Well, Luke and Char can't remember details about me. Anyway,
Hey.
so
Not our fault.
It's the Republic propaganda that Luke has.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really what's throwing me
Wait,
off.
if it's Luke's, then what's mine? This is the plane crash.
Yes, yours is the plane crash. Yours is the
Yes.
plane crash.
So I definitely think we might get a K2SO cameo at some point.
Okay.
Probably late towards the end. Because I know it's gonna be it's at least 3 seasons, right? That's what they said.
Yeah, it was originally slated to be 5.
So I think he's gonna make an appearance at one point, and being the first season, it might just be a cameo, and then later on, it might be more towards developing their relationship. And then I'm on Senator Chuchi watch.
That would be cool.
I need to know if she's safe, if she's all right.
Nice.
She is my love, and I don't want anything bad to happen to her.
Yeah, I get that. Hereth.
I'll go with the safest answer. I'm shocked nobody has said so far. Bail Organa. I feel like Bail Organa is almost a guaranteed bet into the show because of how much Mon Mothma's going to be in the show, and also it's just Jimmy Smith. So at this point, I think it's safe. The other one, it's been rumored a lot. I'll also go with Tarkin. I feel like those two are kind of like the almost guarantees of them all.
Yeah, for sure. That's funny. That would not be cool. That would not be cool. Char, who do you think?
Well, I feel like this story is going to be heavily based on the Empire, so I'm going to just be like Hereth and say it's safe. I'm gonna go with Palpatine and Masameda.
I'm going Tarkin, obviously, because I think that's how you can kind of connect it more to Rogue One. And I think Orson Krennic will show up in the show.
Oh
as
my
well.
god, Atlantis.
Okay, fine. Agent Callus, watch maybe.
Agent Callus is not coming. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, okay, all right. We're already
Hey,
starting off on a really
Who would
tough.
play
first.
Callus in
Hey,
real life?
hey,
Well, hey.
hate to say it.
Anyway,
See?
no, but Chase,
See? There we go.
Chase, what did you say?
Who would play Callus in real life?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Real answers are joke answers.
Either.
Jim Carrey.
There you go.
Jim Carrey
Like,
as
to
a
be serious,
Callus?
to be like serious, I think Chris Hemsworth would be a perfect Callus.
What? Really?
I'm not upset with that.
That's interesting.
See, when it comes to I don't mind like big name actors making like having small roles in Star Wars, but when it comes to big roles and like recognizable characters like Callus in them, I prefer like smaller actors to get those roles, and so like I don't like making speculations because I like.
Oh yeah, like Keira Knightley as Sabe.
That would
Well,
be
bef-
interesting if we saw her in the show.
Mickey Rourke as Agent Callus.
Jesus. Jesus.
Okay, I have two answers. One is a popular one. One's I'm gonna go like two different routes. For my unknown, it's not unknown. He's semi-popular. It would be Roger Clark, the voice of Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. My popular one would be the actor for Jaime Lannister.
Nikolai
Coster-Waldau, yeah.
Coster-Waldau? I mean, I don't hate that. I could see him with the sideburns, the side chops, the oh my goodness, that would have been.
I didn't say Jensen Ackles. I said someone else entirely different.
Okay, see, well, that's because she likes she doesn't really like Jamie. She tolerates Jamie in the show. But yeah.
Hey, Haley. Hi. you doing?
Yeah. What's going on, Haley?
I saw
Haley,
that you were at the beach earlier today. Hope that was fun.
Yep. Yeah, it did look fun. But let's get into the episode.
Malik. Hi.
Malik.
Malik.
Yeah, but also thank you, Hans, for the question. That was a good way to kick off the episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So we're talking about basically this episode boils down to the Jedi finally kind of figuring out the reason why the clones are around and who put the orders in. What do you think the main weakness of the Jedi was during this?
Look, I find it so upsetting that I miss a week and you forgot about my plot summaries.
Well, that's not
That's not how that
after the
works.
intro
That's
discussion.
Oh,
Char, did you miss a week
Dude,
of Pod One?
you
to
miss
forget
it
how
when you
everything
forget the
works?
format.
Dude,
Good
did you
job.
not read the notes. We're already off to a great start. Anyway,
okay. I
Chase.
thought you just dove right in.
No, actually, Pat, what do you think the biggest weaknesses was for the Jedi?
Their education system.
Really, elaborate.
I love the Jedi, and I don't want to slander the Jedi. I'm not going to try to get into Jedi slander because I love them. But they cannot critical think without the Force to save their life. They have this weird balance where like the Force helps them give them insight, but if they lose their connection to the Force or their connection to the Force and that insight disappears, they can't see 4 feet in front of their face.
That's fair. I mean, you kind of get to see that a little bit in them being a little bit of naive, not there being a little bit of naivety, especially when the answers were really in front of their face. So I feel that's an interesting answer though. Very
And the best strategy you can see, they can be able to they don't have to depend on the Force to make connections. They look for answers in the Force. They let the Force guide them to the answers, but they don't depend on it for the insight.
That's fair. That's fair. Chase, your thoughts?
I would say similar to what Pat said, but I think it more comes to who was on the council when. I think they had a poor assembly of the council and who was kind of, running the show for the Jedi. I think if we take all of Clone Wars into consideration, we have like a bunch of missteps from the Jedi Council, and I think it's mismanagement, as they say in business school. But no, I also don't look at it as I don't really see much of a weakness, as we do know how it's even said in the movies, like the shroud of the dark side is clouding their vision.
Yeah.
So it's later in this episode, you hear Yoda talk about a dark web that a Sith Lord has built for them, and it is like an incredibly difficult maze and obstacle course that they have to get through, and they're doing the best they can. It is designed from the beginning to be a battle they can't win.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the biggest part about it is that they are that the dark side is starting to like cloud their mind. Even in Phantom Menace, I think the process starts. But I think it even starts before that. I think we're gonna discover that in Phase 3 of the High Republic. Because that Sith shrine underneath the temple is going to be a big thing. That's for sure.
And that's where Acolyte comes into play.
Yes. Council like. Yep, they did need more therapy droids. You're absolutely right.
Sweet baby ITO.
Yeah, absolutely. Hereth or Char?
Well, I feel like mine's pretty straightforward. This comes from the book called Brotherhood, the very first part of Brotherhood, the Jedi Militarization Integration Act. 100%. The point when the Jedi joined the military or joined the war, that was when the whole fate of the Jedi turned for the worse. The moment they joined the fight was when everything went to shreds.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Is that they and we've been saying this, like there have been arcs in our rewatch where we
It's
yeah
not on fire, it's just the light.
it's interesting because it's like at that. See, here we go. There we go. It is hubris to criticize them with hindsight and ominous Pat.
But no, if you look at High Republic 2, Stellan and Elzar do not critically think while they're disconnected from the Force. It takes them a while to push through everything.
Well, but that's not even a Stellan and Elzar thing. That's just the entire people on Starlight at that point.
Yeah, we're
So-
getting into spoiler territory with the High Republic.
Sorry.
We're gonna try not to spoil that book. Nobody's read it, but it's interesting to see what the dark side does for sure. And yeah, and I think it's funny that Malik's like, oh, what did he say? 3 years deep into the war, and he's like, we should look into who made this army we use instead of starting that off in like the beginning. You know what I mean?
Well, that also gives credit to Pat's. Yeah.
Yeah, Pat did say something earlier about the education. That was his one big thing of weakness is their education system.
But
Yeah.
to build off what Char was gonna say, my point is very similar to Char's of like I said, it's when they join the war. It's kind of goes back to what the Grand Inquisitor said in Kenobi. The Jedi Order is like an itch; they cannot help it. So once they saw people were in need and needed their help, Palpatine just kind of dragged them in there. And
Yeah,
used it
once the
against them.
Jedi Military Integration Act fell through, it was all over.
it was just it all like started off like a chain.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Because from there on, they started trusting the clones, even though they had no idea where the clones came from. And then at the end of this arc, we find out that like they were like, you know what, we still trust them. So
no, yeah, absolutely. But that's also like they've gone through 3 years of fighting
yeah,
with these clones, so it's kind of hard to just be like, oh, we can't trust them anymore. Like
Well,
a lot of these
even-
Jedi have fought
even
with them. No, go
Yoda
ahead.
even says, like, we can't not trust the clones. Like, they've saved your life and mine multiple times. Obviously, they can't detect the chips in Order 66 coming, but, like what are they going to do? Like, we're starting to have suspicions about this clone army. All these clones who have literally saved our lives and have upheld the Republic. Yeah, get out of here, and we'll just let the droids take over. Like,
Yeah, it's quite sketchy, but I digress.
let's dive into the episode itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
we?
Jark, go ahead.
All right, so the plot summary of this episode. I remember when I was watching last week's episode, or the one when I wasn't here, and
Yeah, that would've been last week's
Obi Sean in the chat said the lack of Godfried is disappointing, and you know what? I'm gonna brighten up your day a little bit. All right, so get ready for some Godfried. All right,
Oh God.
you got to turn down the volume.
maxed out the gain. All right, season 6, The Lost One. A long-awaited truth. A distress signal has been received at the Jedi Temple, and Master Plo Koon has been dispatched to investigate its origin. The signal is from a ship thought to be lost and was last known to be in the possession of a Jedi Master who was killed long ago.
Wow, that's a short one.
I know.
Char, I got a question for you.
What?
What are you gonna do when you guys cover Rebels?
That's what I've been wondering this entire time. Chase. Don't you worry.
That's
I don't know.
great. That's
use
a
it for
good.
something else.
That's a good question. It's a
For
very
another-
good question.
In the words of Awesome, got it.
Are you just gonna go
question.
Star Wars Rebels every time?
Star Wars Rebels. No, but I'll be like Palpatine after he defeats Maul. I'll have other uses for you.
Oh Jesus. But yeah, that was I think okay. Let's rank that. I thought that was really good.
I thought it was the strongest one yet. You know,
Yeah.
it was really. It's
It was
almost
loud.
shorter
It was
guys.
beautiful. It was great.
There's
Okay.
no stuttering, a lot of
Whoa.
passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a 6.9.
Out of 10.
You know what? Hey,
Out of 10.
I
Out
would
of
take that
7,
over a
Char.
7.
Out of 7.
Oh,
Seven.
man.
It does.
I was gonna say I think that's better than a 7 because it's like nice, but
69. Nice.
okay.
It's the
So
funny
Chase,
number.
So Chase graded it. What about Pat?
Pat.
I give that an 8.
Just for you,
All right.
8 out of
all
10.
right.
Okay.
All right.
Oh no,
Toughest
Luke.
critic.
Luke.
Are we doing it out of 10? Are we doing? It seems like everybody's doing it
Out
out
of
of
10.
10.
Out of 10.
I will say 8.5. I'll go 8.5.
I'm sticking to my normal grading system, which is out of 5. I'm keeping the consistency for the entire show, even though everyone's
That's
going
good.
out of 10.
That's good because nobody's ever been consistent on this show. Come on now.
Consistency?
now?
Who is they?
Yeah, who are they? Never heard of
Anyway,
them.
I'll give you a 3.7.
Out of 5, so that's a 7.4. That's not bad. Hey, that's a good collective cinema
That is-
score. I'm kidding.
That
Out
is a
of
really
100.
yeah.
Good,
Are we still
good
doing
job.
the?
Good job, Charlie. You got to meet an average.
Hey! No paparazzi, please, unless you're paying me. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
We'll keep you up for the Yoda arc because that one
Oh
you're gonna be on
God.
your,
Yeah.
your
Good
feet
luck.
for.
Good luck
Darth-
on that one.
Darthman, I have no idea what you're talking about.
What'd he say?
When did this
No.
happen?
No,
Who?
the bit's dead.
Yeah,
What
Kenny.
bit are you referring to? Like I never heard
Yeah,
of this before.
Yeah, Kenny. Chase got hit with the Men in Black, like flash thing. So
Yeah.
he just
Paralyzer?
forgot about this past week.
Yeah.
No, we did it Old Republic style. We just mind wiped him.
Oh yeah.
Good.
That was a lot easier to do.
And then here's Brian with the beard reciting pie.
I think he was ranking
You as pie.
you.
Oh,
Interesting.
wait. So is that out of 5 or out of 10, Brian? Curious.
That's
Out of
probably
1,000.
10 out of
Okay,
1,000,
we
yeah.
must dispense with the pleasantries. Let's dive
Anyway.
into this episode.
So this episode is only one episode, and it is called "The Lost Ones," and the moral is: what is lost is often found. Kind of give a little bit of background. We're starting off. Plo Koon is investigating a crash from obviously the crash the beach
LAAT
that's going-
on Felucia.
Yeah. And he ends up finding a lightsaber. Obviously, the lightsaber is, they find out, Sifo-Dyas's. So basically, this whole episode is them trying to figure out, okay, what was Sifo-Dyas doing here and there? The first question that we have is, had the Jedi listened to Sifo-Dyas, do you think the war's outcome would have been different, or was Palpatine's influence that strong?
I don't think it would have been different. I think the master of contingency plans, Sifo-Dyas was but a pawn. He was the first move. He was that first pawn to be moved, but he would have adjusted. If Sifo-Dyas wouldn't have worked, he would have adjusted. Palpatine's a little too smart to just rely on one minuscule Jedi.
That's fair. That's fair. Pat, your thoughts?
I agree with Chase. Palpatine would have figured out a way for it. Might have happened later, but it would have happened. I do think the Jedi Order should have brought it to the Senate. I don't know if they did or not. Attention, and the Senate should have put into debate. It should have been talked about instead of just not thing. And maybe Palpatine wouldn't be able to gain as much power as Chancellor if they come up with some regulations for an army if needed to be. But Palpatine would still taken over the universe.
No, yeah. I see. I think it would have been a lot harder than we think, to be honest. Thanks, Tyler. And
Fuck.
Tyler's my boy.
no, but I think it's an interesting question because if you think about it, so if they do listen to Sifo-Dyas, they're like, okay, so there's a little bit of shady shit going on. Let's figure this out. They probably would have figured out that Palpatine was a Sith Lord a lot sooner.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Like in that episode, do you see how concerned Palpatine is?
Yeah.
about how Sifo Dyas was just brought up, and he choked Dooku about it. He was that concerned.
Okay, I got a question about this. This has always bugged me in Star Wars, right?
All right, here we go.
Okay, so in that scene, I think it's a great scene, with Palpatine looming over Dooku.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've all been on FaceTime, right? Like, it's kind of rude to just FaceTime someone. You usually text them first. It's like Palpatine text Dooku like, "Get on now."
he just opens his data pad and it's just a giant text in bold. It's like,
Get
on
the
FaceTime.
It's like, holo call now. I don't care what you're doing. On right now.
Get
No.
the fuck on.
Chase, I just imagine Dooku sleeping calf, and all of a sudden there's a big red.
He's in his pajamas.
He's like,
Oh.
all caps, FT me, you old bastard.
He puts on his loosest fitting collar because he knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he had his pajamas on from the Dathomir the Dathomir arc, and he's just like, he gets the call and he's like, God damn it, I gotta put on real clothes again.
No. He keeps a spare cape next to
Yes.
his chair at all times.
For sure.
You just go.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's his
this is-
holo call cape. It's
Yeah, it's his only what is my bidding my master cape. I love that. Love that. But I mean, if you think about it, if they would have listened to Sifo Dyas, well, I mean, so not to bring up Plagueis again for the umpteenth time on this podcast.
always bring up
No.
Plagueis.
Always bring up Plagueis.
bringing
please.
up Plagueis. He in that book, Plagueis is in the room with Dooku, Sifo Dyas, and Qui-Gon at that point, and they're talking about Sifo Dyas's vision and what it means. What does he thinks it means? And Plagueis straight up goes, "Man, it sounds like you should probably put a motion into the Jedi Order to make an army." And it's like, huh, interesting.
Man, Higo Damask never fails.
You mean
Yeah.
Higo Damask the second? Get a load of that.
Wait, was he a second?
Yeah.
His father? Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
His father owned Damask Holdings. No, is his grandfather or great grandfather?
I can't remember.
It's a
I haven't
family
read
business.
That book is complicated.
that book is very complicated, but it's always a good read.
Oh,
And I
it's
feel
so
like
good.
I feel like they took a little bit from Plagueis and put it into this arc. Kind of like the process of how the backstory of what happened.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Because Plagueis wouldn't have allowed loose ends. He probably would have got. Well, I can't even remember how that book. Well, I know how that book ends. I just can't remember how.
I feel like that's the one note Palpatine took from being Plagueis' apprentice. Is no loose ends.
Yes.
It's the only thing he ever paid attention to.
Well, and I also think it's kind of funny because it's like they start investigating, right? And Obi-Wan and Anakin go to Felucia. They find out there was another Jedi. And it's like, but he was the only one there. And it's like, then you start to think about it. Oh, Dooku. Dooku was there. That makes sense.
But it goes back to what Element's been saying. It's information we know but the Jedi don't.
But I guess it's just mine as an investigator, as a researcher. If I'm giving it a name and it keeps popping everywhere in references, I would make note of that name and go out looking for sources of that name. I just wouldn't oh, there's that name again. There's that name again. I wouldn't it's too much of a coincidence. And I'm like, it's just good analyzing what's going on. It's like you have a pattern. You should investigate that pattern.
Well, it's also like the pattern that they should have looked at in Ahsoka's trial. Don't want to bring that up again. That shit storm. Wow.
Chris about to bring out the Padawan ranking again.
Yeah, probably. Most likely. No, but I really this arc is I'm not arc because I'm so used to talking about arcs because we usually talk about arcs. It's so hard to think about it. But like this episode is like so monumental and so important to the story as a whole. Because of all the ties that it has to Attack of the Clones and everything. Oh no, I have unleashed the beast. I shouldn't have done that. But
Yeah, but Luke, before we dive into the next question, chat, do you think that if the Jedi listened to Sifo Dyas, do you think Palpatine's plan would have been shifted? Let us know.
no, yeah, it's a good way to
Well,
yeah.
Well, I wanted to bring up because they say in this. Obviously, we're saying if they listen to him, but Mace Windu does mention the fact that Sifo Dyas was a little unhinged and unpredictable. So,
Well, I mean, when I was looking at Kenny's comment earlier, Sifo, Dooku, and Qui-Gon all sense it, but the Jedi Council said no. But I mean, yeah, they were idealists. That was why they were not your typical Jedi, the ones that weren't clinging to all of the political drama that was happening within the Republic. So it changed a lot of the landscape of what the Jedi Order looked like due to Palpatine's influence.
And then like, it just feels weird to me that the council always says we need to meditate on the Force with it, but when they look at these Jedi that put a lot of trust into the Force for answers and stuff like that, they label them as extreme or don't heed any of their visions that they're seeing. I mean, that's Qui-Gon was a rogue to the council because he trusted the actions to guide me by the Force, and then all his analyzing it and his actions were based on that. And then
Well, yeah, a lot of what you said has to do with that deleted scene in Attack of the Clones called The Lost 20 about Dooku and how Dooku and Qui-Gon were very, very similar people and that they believed what was right with the Force, not with what was right within the Jedi Council and the Republic Senate and everything that had to tie in with what the Jedi were doing or what made them do what they had to do at the time. So it's important to look at those Jedi before Dooku shifted and to be like, hey, what could have happened? Do you think that because Sifo Dyas, the whole thing started when because he saw visions of the Republic destroying itself, and then he went to the Kaminoans, ordered a clone army, and then Dooku heard about Sifo's clone army to protect the Republic. Dooku murdered him. He took the clone plans to Palpatine, and you're like, you know what? Let's make a little change to this army. Let's put some things in their heads, and let's see where it goes from there.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think that's obviously Palpatine, like Sean says, Palpatine had contingencies for his contingencies. So, and it's also funny because Qui-Gon is invited to the council. He was asked to be on the council, and he was definitely going to take it. If you read Master and Apprentice, he was very, very close to being put on, very, very close to accepting that invitation until some events kind of lead him to go with the opposite decision, which is why I think Master and Apprentice is must-read material for sure.
Another one of the many Claudia Gray masterpieces that is out there for Star Wars.
It's my favorite Star Wars book.
the queen of Star Wars herself, Claudia Gray.
Well, being a Qui-Gon stan, Pat, I would assume it would be in the top, if not number one. You know,
it's dead center in my bookshelf.
well, it's dead center in the middle of the timeline as well. You know, it's right in the middle of High Republic. No, it's right at the end of the High Republic, and like towards like the middle of like the saga as a whole, which is interesting. Well, not in the middle of the saga because that's like New Hope, Empire area.
That's the middle of the saga.
And Kenny right here said this episode heavily played off of Dooku Jedi Lost and Master and Apprentice. Absolutely. Like, when you read Dooku Jedi Lost, you hear a lot about Sifo Dyas and Dooku when they were initiates in the Jedi Order, when they were a part of Hawkback clan under the tutelage of Jedi Master Terra Sinube. And you find out that they had a long history together. They were good friends. And Dooku betrayed him. And that was one of the many parts of the story where you're like, everything could have been so good.
No, yeah,
But-
and I mean, and it's also kind of funny because I should read and listen to Jedi Dooku Jedi Lost, because
Is that my dad?
that would be so funny.
No, I think it's one of my friends trying to.
Papa Chuck, hey,
Yeah.
Talk,
all are welcome. All are
talk,
welcome.
talking about Cyphus, Diaz, and Dooku, do you think he'll come up in the Tales of the Jedi shorts?
I think so. I think he will definitely show up in the shorts for sure.
No new friends. No, no, no.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Honestly, essentially, Dooku was like, "Yeah, once I have met Palpatine, I'm doing his bidding, and if he tells me to do something, I'm going to do something."
No, yeah, absolutely. I think it's almost guaranteed that he'll show up. But I mean, Mace Windu is also going to show up in a little adventure as well.
Yeah. So I know that this isn't my dad because he never calls me Chuck.
Oh, well,
So
either way,
you're
hello,
a
Mr.
fool.
Johnson. Yeah.
You're a pretender to the throne.
But no, like that's very, very, very interesting. And I mean, do you guys think we're gonna see Cypher in Tales of the Jedi?
I would love to.
My dream.
Ooh, here we go. We'd love
Oh.
to hear about dreams.
No, my dream is that we finally get Plagueis in Tales of the Jedi. Like we finally
Oh.
get
Don't tease me with a good
Yeah.
time.
No.
the fact that it is the end of the High Republic. Like if we look at like episode 1 as the absolute final second of the High Republic, he has the potential to be there. If we're going to go back to Baby Dooku, and how it all came to corruption, I think Plagueis being there makes
I
a lot of sense.
I think that would be sweet because then you could have that conversation.
Well,
Because we are supposed to get young Qui-Gon.
well, yeah, we're supposed to get Padawan Dooku and then Master Dooku with Qui-Gon. I think because it's what 3 episodes of Tales of the
Yeah.
Jedi. It's
Well,
three.
It's three
Three
Ahsoka, 3
True.
Dooku. I think they're gonna start with Ahsoka first, and then they're gonna finish off with Dooku. I think that's the logical, don't you think?
And the thing that interests me the most, and I think it may be pointing to what Chase is saying, was at the panel, Filoni said, if we didn't show the Ahsoka episode, we'd be having a very different discussion right now. I was like,
That's
what
true.
does that mean?
That is true. He did say that at the Tales of the Jedi panel. So I mean, that would be so cool if he was.
Yeah. Wait,
in-
weren't we all there for that?
Yes.
Everyone here? Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was in that panel. That was one of my favorite panels from Celebration, to be honest with you.
It
Mhm.
was my favorite panel.
Well,
'cause
duh, because it's, you got the announcement that Liam Neeson is gonna be Qui-Gon again.
And his son's going to be young Qui-Gon.
Yeah, young Qui-Gon.
So
Yeah, but
All right. Let's dive into the next question.
Yeah,
I feel like we've gone off a bit of a tangent.
yeah. So, how does this episode show how unraveled the Jedi have become? What weakness in the Order is becoming more apparent than before the war started?
Okay. Kind of going back on the intro question and kind of what we talked about a little bit like a minute or two ago. I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of people talk about like the Jedi, like before the Clone Wars, is like, oh, they were already corrupt and everything like that. There's tens of thousands of Jedi, right?
Yep.
At this time. I have to imagine they're not all just like sitting on the council being like, yep, we're Jedi. They're doing things. It's an org, it's a order, it's a council. There's stuff going on. They're doing missions. They're doing diplomatic things. They're, doing all sorts of fun stuff. And so I think someone going under the radar to to a basically a no-name planet and then doing that, I could totally see that happening. And then as the Clone Wars progress, it only becomes more confusing. There's so much more going on because now previously you didn't have a military. Now they're running a military. So I still don't think there's much weakness. We definitely see them unravel though. And I think it is just the power of Palpatine, being the puppet master the whole time. And as we see all of the Jedi start to go away, we lose Dooku, we lose Pong Krell, we lose Barriss Offee. Like everyone's falling apart, and then you lose Ahsoka. Not in the same way, but we do lose her to the Jedi.
Well, and also, what's his name? He gets captured. He does the with Grievous and Cut arc. I think it's the same. Eth Koth? Is that Eth Koth? That's not Eth Koth. This is Zabrak.
I don't know.
Are you talking?
Eth Koth is a Zabrak.
Okay, yes.
Say-
So it's Eth Koth. He ends up leaving the Order towards the end of the Clone Wars.
yeah, and then who
remember.
replaces him is Agent Kolar, who is also a Zabrak.
Yes.
Oh, that's why
So-
it was confusing. I was like, aren't they both in Revenge of the Sith?
No.
Agent Kolar is the one that's in Revenge of the Sith. That's
Yeah.
the confusing part of it. I think Eth Koth only appears in
Clone
The Phantom Menace.
Well, and then Clone Wars. No, he shows up in he's on Geonosis, isn't he?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's on Geonosis.
Because
Because sometimes it's
thought-
so hard at mixing up the two. Because is it Agent Kolar or is it Eth Koth?
Yeah.
I swear I thought both of them went to go confront Palpatine.
No,
No.
just one of them.
Yeah, it was
and in
Agent
Eth Koth.
Kolar, Stacey Teen, Kid
This was a
Fisto, and
trivia
Windu.
question, wasn't it?
It was. That's why
It was a
and
trivia
it
question.
was one I wrote, which was the funnier part of all this. This is the irony.
And
Yeah.
now you're asking about it, huh?
No,
Ironic.
but it's so funny because you said that like a lot of other Jedi are doing other things. Like Eth Koth like leaves the Jedi. He was on the Jedi Council at the beginning of the war. He leaves, and then ends up becoming a priest and having a family, and then
Yeah.
getting got by Vader a
mean-
couple of years later.
And then having his
that's-
kid stolen
that's-
by the Inquisitorius.
That's the whole like setup for episode 1 is there's trouble on a Republic world. We need to make sure that everything is good. We need to make sure that these trade negotiations don't go south and we don't lose, a world to this, separatist alliance. That's what they sent the Jedi out for. It wasn't to swing lightsabers and blow up a bunch of droids initially. That's what it turned out to be. But yeah, it was just like, yeah. I mean, I think that's what's an interesting thing about that opening of that movie is we do see the Jedi not being Jedi. They're just there for negotiations.
Pat, your thoughts?
I think it's the centralization and increasing bureaucracy of the order that as it evolves through the Clone Wars. We can see that like the Jedi are not made to be in one central spot, and you can see that through a lot of the High Republic, and by episode 1 that they're functioning at the Coruscant Temple nicely, but the more that they get into bureaucratic policies and stuff like that, it's a little too much for them to handle. Like when it comes to any time with the Senate, they have to. Yoda always is talking about new ways they have to function. They have to function within like the normalcies of the Senate, and the Jedi are not supposed meant to do that. They're an outside order. They're free order, and then at the end of this episode, Yoda is very much aware of
Hush.
public. What?
Yeah, he's like hush hush.
Yeah, he's very much aware of the public perception of the Jedi, and like that's not a very Jedi thing to do. They don't need public ratings to function, but it's a very much concern.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's why when Alanis and I were coming up with when Alanis was obviously she writes the questions, she asked if I like them or not. But like we were having that discussion, and it was like this is like we were trying to figure out where this takes place, because it has to be because I think Dark Disciple has happened by now, in my opinion.
It's confusing because this episode hasn't come out yet, but we were talking about that heavily during our Son of Dathomir discussion because Chris, you and I were actively trying to figure out where does this all slot in, because there's a lot of information that needs to happen for Son of Dathomir and Dark Disciple to make sense.
No, yeah, because I mean, it's funny because he looks at I think, and it's funny because it's like you look at the Mason Jar Jar episode, then you look at this, and then you think about what Man, I'm getting distracted by all these random names. If you look at the timeline, you look at what Mace is doing, and then you look at what Yoda says at the end. It's like they can see that their order is kind of breaking in a way, and you see that a lot in Dark Disciple. But we can't really get into much with Chase and Pat not having read that, and we don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't read it. And plus, we'll be talking about it on a separate episode, a special episode. So, be on the lookout for that. But Char, go ahead and take the question.
I will. Okay, so we start off with Yoda and Chancellor Valorum meeting because after Yoda confronts Palpatine about the information about Sifo Dyas, he essentially says, well, that was before my term. It was Chancellor Valorum that knows about this. So Yoda goes and sees Chancellor Valorum at his own personal place in Coruscant, and he asks about Sifo Dyas and that he was investigating some spice from Obadiah, and all of this was unraveling, and it was super confusing. And Yoda asks him like who went with him, and that Valorum said it wasn't himself, it was his own personal aide Silman. And when you see a picture of him, he just looks like your regular human being. But then when you see him on Obadiah after all that conflict happens, when Anakin and Obi-Wan speak to I'm forgetting the Pike leader. I'm forgetting his name. Yeah, I'm forgetting his name. But when they go and talk, he's wearing that same necklace that Silman was wearing in the picture, and Anakin confronts him, and then he demands to meet Silman, and Silman is in this cell, and he is transformed. He is like an animal. He makes friends with worms, and then when Anakin and Obi-Wan give him food, he's literally a hermit.
Star Wars' biggest glow up, in all honesty.
Yeah, he's walking on all fours. Like there is something a bit wrong with him. And I want to ask you guys, how does Silman's outcome show how everyday people were damaged by the actions of the Jedi, Sith, and the Senate? Because obviously when they were trying to get information out of Silman, an old guy pulls up and then chokes him to death. So
Yeah.
Before he was about to reveal it. Because, that's Star Wars. When they're about to get good, it just cuts out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good... Star Wars is very good at reflecting the real world. I think this is a good reflection of what the toll of war and political climate and all that stuff can have on people. I don't know if I'd say Silman is an everyday person, but we've definitely seen in real life politicians that do become unhinged and take serious actions. So I think for me, I always look at Silman as I wouldn't call it a cautionary tale, but more of a reflective tale of stuff that happens in real life in the complex corruption of global politics, and in this case, galactic politics. Because it's all corruption at the end of the day.
Oh yeah. And building on top of that, I want to say it's like Star Wars is all about ideology. Its focus is on the big ideology, and the Jedi, the Sith, all good and evil. That's the focus. That's the what's on the Jedi's mind, what's on the Sith's mind. It's power, it's control, it's doing good, it's balancing the Force, and throughout all this thing, that's what it's all been for. The Jedi have all just been trying to bring balance or bring peace. It's the ideological goal of peace, and in the pursuit of that, you have these casualties that you're focused on the ideology, that people are getting lost in the steps, and I think that's part of like why the Jedi are kind of crumbling a bit, and that's what Yoda kind of hits and the other council members are hinting at. Like there used to be so much focus on the people that this war has turned into a battle of ideology, rather than focusing on protecting or looking out for the people. And Silman's kind of like, this was even going on before then. He's a reflection or a preview of what was to come.
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely. Go ahead, Hereth.
I feel like the best way to describe this is it's kind of like they were put in play because, again, Chancellor Valorum needed Silman there to ensure that the Pikes were getting dealt with, because again at the time they were dealing 1313. But what ended up happening was, again, he got trapped in the middle. I think it's just like, it's kind of like Clovis in a sense, like with like when Clovis was getting used as a pawn to Palpatine and Dooku, whoever was caught in the middle just kind of got screwed over. It just sucks because you can't really control that. It's just, you're just on this chessboard and you're getting wiped out because this thing needs to happen so Palpatine can move to power.
Well, and I also kind of think it's funny that when the Pike is like, yeah, we had to keep this guy for leverage.
No,
I'm
it was
like,
it was insurance. He's like, it was
yeah,
insurance.
so you're gonna keep insurance for 10 years?
No,
Okay,
it was
that is
13
committing to a bit, my friend.
It was
It
13
accrues
years.
value over time.
No, it was, no, Luke, it was 13 years because you
yeah.
gotta think,
That's right.
10
13
years from Famous to Attack of the Clones, and then 3 years of the Clone Wars.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That is true. And I just think it's so funny because it's like the Pikes are just like, yeah, we're just gonna commit to this bit. This guy's got some knowledge. We're gonna keep him for safekeeping, you know. And it like I think we see the Pikes only a handful of times, right? And I think this is the first or second time we see Obadiah, right?
The first time, because we see them again in Ahsoka's Walkabout, I
Okay.
believe. Am I right on that?
Yeah, because that's we see them with the Martez sisters
Correct.
later on in season 7.
Oh yeah, because it's the same, like the Ethereal Throne Room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
absolutely.
just found out that I just realized the leader of the Pikes, his name is Lam.
Lam.
Yeah, Lam.
Generic name.
Like 4 Lam without the 4.
So the most important question I think for this episode, are the worms crunchy, chewy, or gushy?
I assume
They
Gushy.
gotta be jelly filled.
Yeah, deli filled. Okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of
Okay.
thinking that too, but I was like, maybe they're kind of crunchy. Like maybe there's like actually a little bit of a hard character.
Okay, guys, we're gonna count to 5, and we're all gonna say General Kenobi. Okay, ready? 5, 4,
You
3, 2, 1.
General
Kenobi!
I don't get it.
I don't know.
Chase has never seen
I've
Revenge.
Okay.
never seen Star Wars. I'm making this all up.
No, but no, that's fair. It's all really good points.
Yeah,
Chase,
it's all great.
you're just here for the fast ships and the pew pews.
Pretty much.
And the
Give
whoosh
me,
whoosh.
give me PowerPoints all day on Star Wars. Stories be damned. Me and
Chase doesn't
Stoops are
like-
gonna go watch some Star Wars.
The joke. Damn it. I was about to say, damn, you don't like stories then?
Oh man.
All right. So with that out of the way, with all of your comments and discussing the question, we're going to move on to the next question. So from where we left off with Silman getting killed by Dooku, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Dooku have a fight, and there's a lot of stuff happens in this fight. So they keep on going, they go out, and then the Pikes help the Jedi, and this is where Obi-Wan realizes something. So when they get out on the balcony and all the Pikes come in, and then Dooku talks to him, and then Lam says, "You are no longer allowed here, Tyrannus." And then Obi-Wan flips a switch in his head, and then he says to Dooku, "Tyrannus, you're Tyrannus?" And then Dooku says, "I told you everything, or I told you everything that I'm
I'd
forgetting
like
Needed
the-
to know on Geonosis all
Yep.
those years, Kenobi. You should have
Yeah.
joined me.
Yeah." And then
I
I
love
was like, huh. Because I was like, that was exactly what Jango Fett told me, that he was hired by a man called Tyrannus on one of the moons of Bogdan. And then now Obi-Wan realizes that Dooku was always Tyrannus. So, and then Dooku force pushes all the Pikes, kills Lam, and Anakin, and Dooku tries to escape, and then Anakin gets force pushed by Obi-Wan, and he goes and he fights him on top of the ship. And then obviously Dooku gets away, and Anakin and Obi-Wan head back to the Jedi Temple.
Hold
And-
on. Gets away. Let's be a little bit more generous to Dooku. He doesn't just get away.
No, he's pretty sly in this. Honestly, this is one of my favorite lightsaber battles.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
It is.
it-
It is
it-
one of the-
he's
toying
got to
with
get
them.
away.
He
Well-
is toying with them.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
it's a beautiful sequence, and you can see how like both done and reveling it Dooku was.
Well, and think about this. This also ties into Revenge of the Sith. Because remember, he toys with them then at the beginning of that fight too, and it's like you won't get away with this again, Dooku, and it's because of this moment, because this is the last time that these three fight each other before Revenge of the Sith. So it's interesting because he does have the upper hand a lot in this entire saber fight.
Yeah.
And it's just great how it coordinates with Revenge of the Sith so much.
Yeah, and the thing is, so Anakin in this fight, so this is the last time they fight before Revenge of the Sith, and this is about what, maybe 2-3 months before Revenge of the Sith?
No, because you need the Outer Rim sieges. The Outer Rim sieges
6
lasted
months.
at least 6 months.
6
then you have
months.
Son of
Okay.
Dathomir and
So,
Dark Disciple.
From this fight and then to
still
Revenge
suck.
of the Sith, when Anakin tells Dooku that his powers have doubled since the last time they met, like 6 months your powers have doubled? Mother of God. like
Anakin
Like this.
Skywalker talking.
yeah. Dooku, you mean 6 months ago?
Anakin's just a little cocky little bitch, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he loves the drama. He's all about that pre-fight chat.
Yes. And then he also-
But he does. Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm.
Hey,
and then
Dooku,
can we
guess
also
what? Gotcha, bitch.
and can we also talk about how
Magano.
can we talk about how cool Dooku's dismount was off of the platform? How he
Oh
took one
yeah,
step
the
and then he
just the
fell?
backflip.
No, he
Oh.
just one step and then he just fell straight down.
Oh yeah.
That was
first.
that was something else.
I feel like he practices that.
I know.
Oh, absolutely.
He's just like Vader. He wants to have a little bit of flair on his exits and his entries.
What I love the
Like
most
Revenge of
about
the Sith, he does a flip before he fights Anakin and Obi-Wan.
What I love the most about it is I love how once he gets on the ship and he's flying away, he's just like chilling there, like thinking, and then he looks up and he just sees Anakin like, ah!
He's
Yeah.
flying and then he cuts the ship and
Yeah.
then,
It is a really good fight.
yeah.
Oh.
So, which I want to ask you guys, how does this arc showcase Dooku's power? When in his timeline, do you believe he was at his most powerful?
I mean, I think what we just went over, just his style and how he's just touring with them, and then Force pushes what 25 pikes.
Yep.
About
Yeah, and Anakin and Obi-Wan back. I think this is probably his most powerful. Because I think even in Attack of the Clones, Yoda and him are fighting, and it says he's like, "Oh, we can't actually do this with lightsabers or through the power of the Force, but with a lightsaber, whatever it is, I forget."
Yeah, when he fights Yoda.
Yeah, but like it seems like it's like there's a match there, but he's definitely. I feel in all of the Clone Wars, every time we see Dooku with a lightsaber, he is playing with people. He doesn't fight people. He plays with them. He's like a cat.
Dooku is meticulous. You've known since the day he's become Palpatine's apprentice. Most of his day has been dedicated to training. He's not going to stop. And he knows, especially if he believes the Dark Side is giving him more power, he's going to hone that as best as he can. And so he's just going at it, and he's building up. And that's like where his power is coming from. It's just this dedication.
I
But-
would.
But before you go, I want to talk about this comment. Imagine if Sean Connery was the actor for Dooku instead of Christopher Lee.
Oh, I don't think that would have been nearly as good. I think Christopher Lee, like,
We're going down, Kenobi.
is perfect. Oh man, rest in peace, Christopher Lee. Really good. Nick Jonas, my boy.
Oh my god. Yes, I like playing Wizard 101. It's one of my favorite games. Yes, he is in the game. Yes.
But to get back on track, Chase, of how did you able to go and finish your question?
Yeah, I did.
So it's so hard because I know Pat and Chase have not read Dark Disciple. My answer is Duke is the strongest in Dark Disciple. The stuff that he does in that book is just insane, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
No, well, I think Dooku is strong throughout the entire Clone Wars, but I think
He's at a strongest in
This.
Dark Disciple.
yeah,
in my
strongest
opinion.
in Dark Disciple, and also in this. But like Chase, I think the one saber fight where he is not on his A game is definitely on Naboo. When he fights Anakin.
Oh yeah, with the Magna Guards.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, I think I full-heartedly think that if the Magna Guards wouldn't have been there, Anakin probably would have killed Dooku. that
yeah,
day.
I feel like we talked about. I was on that episode.
Yeah,
We
you
talked
were
about
on
this.
that episode. So
I still think he was toying with them. I think you're right. I think it would have gone way different if the Magna Guards wouldn't have been there. But man, he still was. I mean, he was like electrocuting him for half the fight. So
no, yeah, I think it's just interesting. It's very, very interesting that we are.
To answer your question, Haley, so at Revenge of the Sith, he is 83 years old.
Which would have
Hey,
put Qui-Gon
killing it
He would've
at
li-
83.
He would have
So-
lived to be. He would have been what, 63?
Yes,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Dooku was born in 102 BBY, and Sidious was born in 84 BBY. So Dooku was 17. We know math right. 18 years older than Palpatine.
Yeah, but we also know he's either 82 or 83, depending on when his birthday is in Star Wars. So
Yeah,
somewhere
when
around
is
that
his
mark.
Republic calendar birth date?
I feel
We
like
will-
Dooku would go around saying like, "Oh yeah, 80 is just the new 40."
Oh yeah.
He would.
He totally would. You're absolutely right. But yeah, Hereth.
But yeah, so again, like Char said, it ends with, there's only one Darth Vader, and it's our good and Lord Star Wars lawyer. Priest.
Yeah.
What is going on?
I love this.
This chat has gone full
I love this.
crack bowl insane, and I'm here for it. I'm here for this energy. I just imagine the Spotify listeners are just like, why do they keep stopping every 3 seconds to talk about Ewan McGregor? It's just so weird.
Hey. That's why you gotta watch us on YouTube. But yeah, Hereth, go ahead and
Yeah.
take away the last
Yeah.
two questions.
So once more, we end with like the wipe the Jedi Council, and they're like, yeah, like our enemy has created a clone army. We can't reveal this to the Republic because we'll lose all our leverage in the war. And so this goes into this entire conversation about Yoda being like, oh, we're getting like just thrown into this like web by the Sith Lord, and how we're going down a path, but it's not the right path. And so, actually, no, I'll say the whole thing. But they were not on the right path, and we're on the only path. Do you believe this to be true in a sense?
I mean, the Jedi had multiple avenues at the beginning of the Clone Wars. They shoehorned them into what they're on because they've had multiple times to say to stop.
Oh Jesus!
This chat is amazing. I love you all.
Oh wow. Okay, this is why I love this podcast, because you never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
But no, as I'm saying, that they've had multiple times to say, yeah, no, we shouldn't be doing this, but they've put all their faith in that this is the right choice, and they can't really back out here. Because even if they back out, they can still back out, but then they definitely will put people in danger. And while there may be casualties during the war, a lot more casualties will come from them pulling out at this point. And so,
Yeah, I definitely look at it as they are looking at it the only way they can look at it. And, Yoda says, we have to end this war. Man, this is insane.
Trying to process this so.
I'm going to look this way so I can finish a thought. No, they from the Jedi's perspective, if they give up, they hand the galaxy over to a Sith Lord that they don't know. And so when Yoda says it's not the right path, it's the only path. He knows it's not right. But he knows if we don't do anything, it will only get worse from here. We have to do everything we can to make a horrible situation a little bit less worse. Yoda knows there is no happy ending for this. I think most of the Jedi Council knows there's no happy ending to this war anymore. The victory won't be a victory. It'll just be an end. So yes, I think he's 100% right.
Pat.
I'm just watching the Lego Mace Windu now.
I know. How do we follow that?
But Jay, I mean, me and Jason are in agreement. It's the Jedi have no right answers anymore. It's just what they can do to help relieve anything that's going on.
Darthman, the Jedi saving themselves makes them not Jedi.
Yeah, because if they were to pull out, that's selfish.
They're really dangerous.
And I say
Wait,
this.
the Jedi pull out?
They have to pull out.
Do they even pull in?
They no attachments.
No attachment. Wait, hold on.
That was one lesson Anakin didn't get.
Wait, hold on. So do they? Man. It's almost like the Jedi like to soak in a way.
I think certain Jedi soak.
Oh, for sure.
I think Anakin and Padme soaked for the first 4 years.
Oh, but they're only married for 3.
3.
Exactly.
Oh.
Hey, they were soaking on that when they were going on their little trip in Brotherhood.
Oh no.
We're going down a path I can't follow.
Anyway.
Because of Ewan McGregor in Podwans chat.
Yeah.
And Lego Mace Windu, apparently.
No, it's, and I think Chase put it perfectly. Like, it's kind of like Yoda really kind of coming to the final understanding of like, well, we fucked up. Now we just have to deal with it. You know, it's really the beginning of the end. Jedi, while leaving a one night stand, the Force will be with you. But I won't be.
Kiadi be like,
Oh Jesus!
No.
Palpatine's here.
Somehow he's returned.
Oh man!
You know, the Jedi are like monks and like live almost a life of poverty. So no, not even cab fare. Not even cab
wait,
fare.
Ewan McGregor is Darth Sidious? What is going on?
Oh man!
Wait, but like, there's a reason why the Jedi Temple is by appointment only to visit.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay. Yep, we've lost complete control.
Luke, let me ask you
right.
this.
The chat is taking
When
over.
was the last time you had an episode where it wasn't derailed?
That's true.
Been a while. Been a while.
No, Son of Dathomir, we didn't have any problems because there was no chat.
Yeah, there wasn't any chat.
I love this chat. I love you all.
No, yeah, it's
I'll
been a
say,
big-
I'm usually
You
the one
guys
that
have all
derails
made my day.
podcast. I have been so well behaved today.
That is true. I will say that. Last week, not so much. But
I don't know
What
you're
happened
talking
last week?
oh,
Luke, you were just the host that week.
Last week you talked about Clovis.
Yeah, exactly. There was no arc in
I
between.
mean,
it.
last week they talked about Mason Jar Jar.
What arc? There's no episode about Mason Jar Jar.
all right.
Oh yeah,
all
I forgot
It
the president.
disappeared.
Okay. All right. Let's get back on. Well, thank you, Ewan. Whoever you are. Great. Thank you.
It's Ewan.
What would you do if that was you and McGregor, Luke?
That is that you and
I'd be
McGregor.
like, hey, saw you at Star Wars Celebration. Nice to see you again. But Harris, take us home. Last question.
To end off this podcast. So I gotta ask you guys, why do you think the writers chose to keep this only to a one standalone episode? Do you guys wish it was more episodes, or was it kind of the perfect length?
It's the perfect length because I realized they've been wasting everyone's damn time, and they could have just filled in the gap between episode 2 and 3 with this one fucking episode.
Jesus.
But no, I think it's the perfect length. I think after so many long arcs, I think it is the perfect pacing just to get a like. And I guess maybe I have the wrong understanding here, but this is part of the Netflix series, right? Or Netflix
Yes.
season.
Yeah.
Yes,
This was season 6 was pushed to Netflix. Yes.
Yeah.
Or as the Blu-rays, it was called The Lost Missions.
Yeah. The Lost
Yeah.
Mission.
So this, to me, and again, I was not there when it was all airing. This feels like we really have to tie this together with episode 3, and do it as quickly and efficiently as possible. And I think they did a really good job, especially with this arc, and also the next arc coming up. I think it doesn't tie anything together, but it's really good.
Well,
But no,
I mean, it was the original ending for Clone Wars, but we'll get to
Yeah.
that when we get to the Yoda arc.
yeah, but no, I love the length of this. I wish there were more episodes of the Clone Wars like this. I know there are those one-off episodes, but I wish there was more of those one-off episodes that were like, hey, we're gonna like connect a lot of things here. We don't have to go through a whole essential movie to get through it. But yeah, I love how short this arc is and how much it tells you.
Yeah. It tells you a lot in a short span of time. I think it's like what 23, 24 minutes.
24-minute episode.
Yeah.
This chat, we
wild.
can't get anything done with this
No,
chat.
we can't. We really can't.
Wait. So you're asking me to take the mask off, but your PFP already has your mask off. So
Yeah.
Want me to
what
put
are
it
we
back
doing
on?
here?
He needs the
What are we
lower
doing
half
here?
off. He wants to kiss
help
you.
me put this mask back on.
Help me take
Pat,
this mask off.
No.
Huh? What? I'm sorry. I'm distracted by Vader.
yeah.
No, I originally I wanted this to be a longer arc,
Mm-hmm.
just because I want to get more into the politics of stuff. You know me. I would love a little more Valorum going on, but Chase is right. It is the perfect length. So I do have a little. It feels a little sped through for me, but I think it's a one-off episode is perfect for this, because it should leave you feeling like that sense of dread that this has been going on and looming over the Jedi the whole Clone Wars, and you only have this small interaction where they get the answers, but there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah. I think it's perfect because it's a great palate cleanser from what you get in I mean from the Clovis arc, even from the beginning of season 6, you have these arcs that are before this episode. You have this episode and then you have the finale arc with Yoda. And I think it's perfect. Absolutely perfect to watch. And I really enjoyed it. I think it could have been an arc, a potential arc. But then again, the way it was written, just perfect for one episode, in my opinion. So
Yeah, I'm right with you, Luke. It kept it short and sweet and accomplished everything it needed to in a span of 25 minutes. It revealed who Tyrannus was. It revealed that Sifo Dyas is what he was doing before his death, and it accomplishes everything it needs to. And it's a perfect way to have it be the final episode before the last arc of the show until we get to 2020.
Yep. Absolutely. Just want to highlight this comment because we don't get many Twitch viewers. So awesome. Appreciate
Twitch.
it.
Hello, Mohammed. How you doing?
Mohammed. Thanks. Jar Jar. Yep. What's up, buddy? B Dazzler, Brooke. We're gonna go into our whole spiel about Far Far Away Factory. Cue it up. Far Far Away Factory, where you can get awesome shit. Brooke, B Dazzler. She does awesome stuff with Star Wars, DC, Marvel. You can buy shirts, sweatshirts, little earrings and stuff like that. She has everything under the sun. go to her website, farfarawayfactory.com. You can find her on Instagram at farfarawayfactory, at TikTok at _bdazzler_. You can't go to her Etsy shop, but we prefer you guys go to the website because that really, really helps us out. Helps her out. Sorry, not us out. It helps her out. Anyway.
Mohammed found YouTube. Hi. I'm glad that we have a
God,
good
that
handful
is
of
such a
international
good
viewers that
profile
come in.
That is a great profile picture. I love it.
What a
Great.
cutie.
Is that El Chapo?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Anyway, Hereth, your thoughts?
no, I agree. I think this was the perfect choice for this episode. It was the perfect one-off. It was the nice breather between the Mason Jar Jar episode arc and the Yoda arc. It was like a really like nice breather, and then it kind of just lets you fade into that. Like it was like a really good fade in. It like puts the Clone Wars all in retrospective because you think about it with this one paired up with the Yoda arc, it's like the perfect like retrospective of like going back to the very beginning of the Clone Wars and how it all started to what their choices are at the end of the Yoda arc. Again, it's hard to talk about this episode in a vacuum because the Yoda arc's like right on the door and they're like the perfect companion pieces to each other.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to decide that because once more, I feel like this is the perfect standalone one-off Clone Wars episode because there's not really that much in the series and you can't really top this one.
No. Chart. 3
What's up?
interesting facts.
So before I say this, I just want to look at this this Jar Jar and Ewan talk in the chat. He said, "Misa late, sorry," and then he said, "You ruined everything." And then he says, "I am the father," and then he says, "No." And then he's going after Muhammad. Better watch out. And then he says, "I might get Yoda." If I'm in profile, I'm not ugly. I kick you. Call me ugly. I spit on you.
Alright,
And another
anyway.
happy land. Okay. Anyway,
Chaos is a ladder.
this
Yeah.
chat is
Wild.
oh my god, it's amazing. But anyways, let's dive into my segment. The 3 interesting facts about this arc. 3 interesting facts about a certain Clone Wars arc that you didn't know about until now. Part 37, the Lost Ones edition. Fact 1, allowing the inevitable. This episode makes it clear that the Jedi were not completely ignorant of the mysterious circumstances surrounding the creation of the clone army. Rather than be completely obvious to their fate, the Jedi, in truth, were aware of the plot by war's end, but were helpless to unveil it or stop it in time. Fact 2, a nod to Steven Spielberg. The mysterious opening sandstorm sequence on the Obadiah Moon was staged as a tribute to a similar sequence in Steven Spielberg's 1977 film Close Encounters of the Third Kind. As a further nod to Spielberg's distinct visual style, the night sky over the moon features a shooting star. Fact 3, case file unraveled. Sifo Dyas's case file 127456 reads, Jedi Master Sifo Dyas died while trying to negotiate a peace between tribes on Felucia. He was aboard Jedi T6 Shuttle 77519 when it crashed. Much of the information surrounding his death remains confidential under the office of the Chancellor. It is believed his body was eventually recovered and cremated by the Felucian tribes in accordance with Jedi custom. For this reason, there has been little evidence which confirms the location of his disappearance. Further inspection in the matter may be authorized at a further date. And there you have it. Those are the 3 interesting facts about the Lost Ones episode.
Well, I actually have a bonus fact to add on to your 3 interesting facts. So, Obi-Wan says in this, like when they're talking about Tyrannus, when he first comes up, and he's like, "You're the man named Tyrannus," and then he's like, "Sifo Dyas join me," and he's like, "You lie." Well, that line pops up again in Siege of Mandalore. And James L. Taylor was talking about on his podcast about how he didn't originally want to say "you lie." He wanted to say "that's a lie" because he felt like that was not in character for Obi-Wan. So there's an interesting fact behind the scenes.
Interesting. Well, there you go. Gotcha.
fact.
All right. So, episode ranking. Let's start with Chase.
I will go Grandmaster on this episode. I think it is the best one-off episode of the Clone Wars. I joked that if it took you 6 seasons just to tie everything together. I think season 6 as a whole is so good at connecting everything from episode 2 to episode 3, and episode 7 obviously is more of an overlap. But I think what they do with this arc and the questions that they answer from episode 2 are like pivotal. It almost feels like, and I think the way that this episode was shot as well, like the opening with Plo Koon, like that is like straight out of, well, I mean, I guess like it feels like it was like Dune, basically, like all the sand and just like the vehicles obscured and stuff like that. I think the panning shots of Coruscant in this episode look way better than they have ever before. So yeah, it almost felt like a 20-minute movie that you watch in this little episode. So yeah, I'm gonna go Grandmaster.
There you go. There you go. Pat?
I gotta go Grandmaster as well, just because it does a very good job at giving you sense of urgency and doom for the Jedi. That they have all this information now, but they've stuck themselves, or the universe has stuck themselves in this chaos, and they can't do anything without someone getting hurt, whether it's them, individual people, the Senate, or the clones. And it really puts this dread from the dark side of the Force over you.
Nice. Hereth?
Gotta agree with it. I was thinking it before Chase even said it. Grandmaster. I think this is the best one-off Clone Wars episode. Like I said, like Chase said, it's like the perfect bridge. Like Chase literally just stole my words. Like, what do I even need to say anything else? Grandmaster.
Yeah. Yeah. Char?
Grandmaster. Nothing else I gotta say. It's a
Yep.
Grandmaster.
Grandmaster.
Hey,
Grandmaster.
full swing.
Yay!
Hey, it's I think that's what, the 9th? 9th.
8th.
8th episode to get Grandmaster. Man, the chappy Wilden.
Did you actually want to listen to Luke complain for 5 hours, or did you just want to go to sleep for real? Sleep I wanted. Passed away. I did.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait,
I-
can you Chris's comment? At the very.
No idea what you guys are talking about. This is
No idea.
no,
No idea.
wild.
But no, go ahead, Pat.
I just wanted to say that like the opening to this episode was the best because the Jedi could not see. They were lost in the dark and they couldn't see, and that's like some of the best opening for the whole Clone Wars episode because it really set the tone for everything.
Yeah, I would say yeah. When I was rewatching this today, I was like, this is really just a good opening to an episode. Just how, like I said, how it's shot. Like Pat said, like it's a good, just like imagery of what's going on with the Jedi at that point. So good.
I was gonna say what I love the most about it is not only is the perfect opening, like you said, with the dark and everything. Also, you get the perfect tie into Rebels because you see Commander Wolf.
Mhm.
So it's like everything is just coming to a head, and like it's like a good like wrapping of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. That is going to be it, guys. Thanks for everybody in the chat for being as crazy as you are. Thanks for everybody that's been here, Chase and Pat. Where can the good people follow you both on the social medias?
I'm on TikTok at St. Pat _gang Separatist Rebel, and then I'm on Twitter of St. Pat of Stars. I would love if my Twitter following could get a little boost. That would be awesome. But yeah, that's where you can find me. I just post random things.
Chase?
Sweet. Yeah, no, you can follow me at Forward Into the Black everywhere, mostly on TikTok and Twitch, and Instagram sometimes, usually just talking to people. But yeah, and then find me on the Rogue Council sometimes here and there, every once in a while when we feel like talking about Star Wars movies.
Absolutely. Yoda. All right. Hereth, where can good people follow you?
Can you put Yoda's comment back on screen?
I think yeah, because I have to criticize this. I think it would be on the gram. You must follow me.
Yes.
Is what it should be.
No,
On the
on the
gram,
gram
you
you
must
must follow. There
But
you
I was
go.
gonna say,
Yeah.
Yoda's right. You
Yeah.
should absolutely follow me, Hereth Productions, on Instagram. Also the same username as TikTok, and also Hereth_edits on Twitter.
As you
And
can
yeah,
see down below in the ticker.
Yeah, literally just read the ticker if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, what are you doing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Go follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and you can find me here.
Char J. Where can the good people follow you?
Good people, you can find me on TikTok at CharCharJ, as spelled right here, and you can find me at the Pod Ones podcast every Thursday as we cover our Clone Wars rewatch. Next week, we're going to be covering the Yoda arc, the final arc of season 6. And you can also find us on Friday as we have our Kenobi rewatch on Stream Lounge.
Yep. Part 3 tomorrow. It's gonna be awesome. We've got to chuckle. We got to juggle a lot of people around. But yeah, you can find us at the Pod Ones Podcast on TikTok, the Pod Ones Pod on Instagram, and Pod Ones Podcast on Twitter. We are dabbling into other franchises. You are going to start seeing here in a couple of weeks House of Dragon reactions, and Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings action on the channel. So be on the lookout for that. Obviously, we'll be still doing Star Wars, doing our roundtables, doing Andor, Bad Batch. This is where the fun begins. So keep your eyes here. Like, comment, subscribe. We can't do any of this without any of you, and we appreciate it. But that is it. On to the next one. For Light and for Life.
We are all the Republic.
And may the force be with you.
Always.
Always.
See you guys.